and welcome to Inside Healthcare. One of the most common reasons that men and women seek emergency care is for chest pains. Do you know what causes them, or if you're having chest pain, what you should do? So we've come to the urgency room in Egan to talk with Dr. Rob Anderson to get some answers. So
thanks for coming again.
Absolutely. What a great topic. You know, like people, when it happens, they don't know what it is happening. What are some of the more common causes of chest pains?
Well, chest pain can be many different things. You know, we always worry about the heart. Are you having a heart attack? Maybe a blood clot in the lung, maybe pneumonia, could be heartburn, could just be stress, maybe there's trauma.
I wouldn't even know like a clot would cause chest pains. Wow.
That's right, yeah. Pulmonary embolism or a blood clot in the lungs can cause chest pain too.
So how can you tell if it's a heart attack? And what would be some of those symptoms? Well, is there a difference between the symptoms?
Well, heart attack symptoms can be different for everybody. Most commonly, you'll have chest pain. It's typically, you know, a pressure sensation in the middle of the chest. Sometimes it'll go up to the jaw, will go down the arm. Sometimes you break out in a cold sweat. Sometimes you get nauseated, maybe even throw up. I mean, those are the classic symptoms, and chest pain getting worse with exertion as well. So walking up and down a flight of stairs.
So that's a clue, then, if you're doing that.
I'm worried about pain like that. But sometimes you don't even have any of those. Sometimes it's just a little bit of a funny feeling, some nausea, and that's all you get.
And I understand women tend to have different symptoms than men. What would those be?
Sometimes women can have different symptoms. Also, if you have diabetes, as we age as well, our symptoms may change as well. So sometimes, again, it is just more the nausea that we get, and not necessarily the crushing chest pain, or just an unwell feeling. People come and say, I just don't feel right, and you just look at their brow and they're just covered in sweat, and you can notice that they're panting a little bit, and you're just worried about them. You know, feeling a little short of breath, and you do an EKG to take a look.
That's what I was going to say. So what kind of test do you do here to rule out or to say, yes, this is something that needs further examination?
Yeah, so here at the urgency room, we can do EKGs, which kind of looks at the electricity, so to speak, of the heart to give us a clue if there's a problem with the pipes of the heart. So we can do the EKG, we can do blood tests as well. So there's a blood test if the EKG looks concerning, or sometimes even if it's normal, we still do the blood test as well.
And I've had some family members who have said, well, they thought they were having a heart attack, then it turned out it was an anxiety attack. What's the difference?
Well, you know, a heart attack is something's wrong with your heart, but certainly if you're feeling some chest pain, I mean, that makes me nervous, it makes me anxious. You know, if I'm feeling some pain in my chest, I don't know what it is. So I want to get that EKG, I want to do that blood test for a heart attack to see if it is a heart attack or not. And, you know, if you do all these tests, and sometimes even if they're normal, we still refer people to get an outpatient stress test or follow up with a family doc. There can be underlying heart disease that we can't pick up on with these tests definitively. And that's why additional testing is needed, either through the hospital or a family doctor or seeing a cardiologist. But yeah, I mean, even if you're having a heart attack, that's going to make you anxious. That's going to cause some anxiety. Yeah. So we hate to just blame it on that. And we always like to do the test to determine if it is or not.
So if they are having the chest pain, let's say they're at home, they're at work, what should they do?
Well, if you're worried that you're having a big heart attack, I mean, you need to call 911. You need to go to the emergency department immediately.
Because they'll get you that treatment right away, even before you get to the urgency room or the ER or something.
Yes, the paramedics do an incredible job. They can get EKGs as well. And paramedics, especially in the Twin Cities here, are really, really good. And they can pick up on these subtle signs as well. But certainly if you don't feel like it's significant pain, but you're still worried about it, people come in here. And then we do the EKG and the troponin, and certainly people come in here and are having heart attacks. And we have processes set up so we can start the medicines, a treatment for the heart attacks.
I was going to ask, what type of treatments do you offer then?
So what's very important is taking aspirin. There's a couple different medications, even blood thinners that we can start here as well. And if you are, we have a process set up for sending people to the cath lab if needed on an emergent basis, or if things seem to be stable, we can start the medicines here and then directly admit people to the hospital.
What should be what final comments would you have for our viewers if they're experiencing chest pains? What should they do?
I mean, certainly have it checked out, because, you know, we so often just think about heart attacks. But like I mentioned at the beginning, it could be a blood clot in your lungs, or sometimes people have chest pain, but it's actually referred pain from the gallbladder and the belly. And you're getting that pain referred up into the chest, or, you know, if you fall down and hurt yourself, you could have a collapsed lung. You could have a broken rib.
Wow.
Sometimes even heartburn. People come in and, they have heart disease, they have diabetes, and they're having maybe at a meal that's not the best for them, and they just have this bad pain in their chest. People come in here like that all the time. We do the EKG. We can do the blood test for heart attack. We can even check the blood test to make sure it's not an infected gallbladder, or pancreatitis is another one. And we can give medicines to help, with that gastritis or esophagitis. And if that takes away your pain and all these tests are normal, then we can be reassured that it's unlikely to be a heart attack and relieved that it's probably just some bad heartburn.
For those that haven't been to the emergency room, just briefly, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. So we're here in Eagan right now. We're also in Woodbury and Vadnais. We're open from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. every single day, even holidays and weekends. And we have lots of abilities here to do testing for heart attack. We can test for blood clots in the lung. We can do a blood test for that and a CAT scan if needed.
All right.
Yeah.
Always great advice.
Yeah, thanks for
Good
being here,
place to
Jody.
come here for advice. So thank you. And we'll be back with more right after this.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, and athlete because a kidney transplant gave him a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor. Imagine what you could make possible. Learn more and sign up as a donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
Welcome back to Inside Healthcare, and joining us now, we're very pleased to have with us Randy Rust and his mother, Cynthia, or Cindy, and she's written a book. It's called It's Nice to Meet Me Too, and it's all about Randy and raising a son with a rare neurological disease called TS. So it's so nice to meet you, Randy.
Yeah.
Glad to have you with us.
Yeah.
And you too, Cindy. So,
Thank you.
First of all, why don't you tell us what TS is? What's it all about?
TS is tuberous sclerosis, and if you have the disease, it's autosomal dominant genetic disease, so 50-50. There is gene markers for it now on the TSC1 gene, TSC2, so you can be tested. But then there's a big percentage that is sporadic mutation as well. So it just occurs, and it can be on a spectrum. You can be very affected with seizures, which actually can cause the mental retardation with the amount of seizure activity as a baby, called infantile spasms. And otherwise, if you are past the age of 2 and haven't had a seizure, you oftentimes are functioning very normal. And I have friends that are doctors at NIH and lawyers and very successful people.
Yep.
Yeah, with tuberous sclerosis. So runs the spectrum.
And Randy, can you tell us how old you are?
24,
40.
45.
No, 40.
Not
40.
45.
No, you're not that old yet. 40.
40.
40.
That's awesome. And you had a big party for your birthday?
Yeah.
You had a big 40th birthday party. Can you tell her where it was? Can you tell Jody where it was?
At Uncle Harry's house.
No, it was at Shamrocks.
It was at Shamrocks.
Oh, at Shamrocks.
Yes, and Randy used to work there.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and he had a 30th surprise birthday party there too.
Nice.
But every party's a surprise for Randy.
Shamrocks broke, Mom.
No, he just doesn't work there any longer.
Right. And every birthday is special, but especially for Randy. I mean,
Right.
you were told that he probably wouldn't even live to be 20.
That's correct. Right.
So you actually call him your miracle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. He is a miracle. He's outlived most of anything ever and had many, many, many surgeries. Lung collapsed on an airplane due to tuberous sclerosis. He's had partial nephrectomies of his kidneys, both kidneys. The tumors grow. That's what happens with tuberous sclerosis. Usually they're benign tumors, but they grow in the organs, such as kidneys, lungs, heart, and the brain.
And you just never thought you would live to see him be 40?
We never did, and it's
And
been
40
wonderful.
plus now,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes.
And not quite 44 yet, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was due to primarily getting in a study out of Cincinnati Children's Hospital with Dr. Bissler, and the drug was Afinitor or rhabdomyosin, which was actually a drug used for kidney
So they
transplants.
get a new hospital.
But they used it, and it's really helping these kids.
So
It's
they get a bar thing.
shrinking and holding the tumors at bay in the organs.
Wow.
And he really has done very well with no seizures, actually one little one, but no seizures in 10 years to speak of.
That's
I don't want a
fantastic.
broken hospital.
Yes, no broken hospitals, no.
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 And he has some favorite hospitals or rooms at favorite hospitals. I
Yes, tell her
understand?
what you like to look at down at Children's and United. What do you want to look at? Cathedral?
Cathedrals.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it's
likes.
beautiful.
Yeah, he wants
The
a
cathedral broke.
view of the cathedral, right?
It broke, Mom.
Yeah. So
The
Yeah.
cathedral got all broken.
everything's old and broken.
Oh,
It
yeah,
just-
it is old. Yeah.
Well, that's what he says.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So.
So, why did you decide to write a book?
Well, like any parent, you want to share stories about your children. And my stories began when I was teaching high school, and I found that I could keep students' interest better than actually the subject I was trying to teach with my Randy stories. And over, the stories became an oral tradition. People would ask for Randy stories, not only at school, but friends and relatives and being out in the community. And then people started to say, you should really write a book, you should write a book. And I had been journaling these stories for a number of years, and my daughters, who are both very, very creative as well, and they journaled, and teachers had journaled, nurses had journaled. So the journal added up, and the book got written, and it was a dream to get it published.
You know, and reading the book, you know, he's had tremendous challenges in life, but you try to find the humor
Right.
in a lot, and he's
Right.
actually pretty funny.
Yeah, he's very funny, and
Yeah.
that's his story. It's
Can I eat my chocolate donut?
you're earning the chocolate donut after we're done with the
Can I
interview.
drink my water?
Sure can.
Yeah, I heard Randy likes donuts, so I brought donuts for him today.
So kind. He loves donuts, and Granny Donuts on Robert Street. He's been going there since he opened. So yes, but
It broke.
yes, Randy, it did break.
So, how about just very quickly, one little quick story about from the Randy story? Yeah.
From the book.
Yeah.
Well, two kind of stand out. The first one is whenever the girls had college friends or high school friends
He's
up.
got two younger sisters.
Correct. Over to visit. They were getting ready one night, a bunch of the college girls to go out, and Randy was up there, and of course the perfumes were going, the hairsprays were going, and the smells. And Randy loves smells too. And he came in and he started telling each girl what they smelled like. So then they lined up. They wanted to all know what they smelled like. And one smelled like roses, another one smelled like, he just shampoo, another one smelled like,
Can I look at these?
yes, like donuts.
Go ahead.
And then he came upon the last one and he said, and you smell pregnant. And which was irrelevant to anything anyone had said.
Interesting.
And another thing, and he's not trying to be funny. It's just,
It's a wise story. Yep.
it's just, but the other story that we really like is he went to summer camp at Camp Friendship, and he got in the car after being there for a week, and he told us he had done such a great job. 2 thumbs up, and we were reading the review on the way home, and it said that he had tipped over a wheelchair, and I thought, well, that's not too bad. But then a client had been in the wheelchair at the square dance, and he wanted to sit down. So, I mean, these stories aren't really funny, but they're funny.
They're heartwarming.
Right. He doesn't
Absolutely.
mean any harm. He's a very sensitive, loving boy, but yeah, and he. And my favorite is we're going through an intersection, and the light was turning yellow, and I said, all right, Randy, we're going to go fast, so hang on to your hat. And he whipped his seatbelt off, and he whipped to the back seat, and he said, I can't find my hat. He never had a hat on. So very literal too.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yes.
and I understand too that some of the portion of the proceeds from the book have gone for TS Alliance for
Right,
research
right,
and things. So you're
right.
helping other families.
It's
as
an
well.
organization that's, it began in 1974 in some mother's kitchen in California. So it's grown to worldwide, and Congress actually enacted $6 million for research. So we are
That's awesome.
learning so much and
Yeah.
doing so much, and there's so many studies, and so many children are being helped, even by this drug that Randy's the oldest on the drug. So
Wow,
yeah,
good for you.
it's one of the oldest. So.
So, and then Randy, I understand that you're the fun uncle with your 5 nieces and nephews. What are some of their names of your nieces and
Randy,
nephews?
can you tell who's this?
Maybe
Maybe Wes.
maybe West. Maybe
Brady.
Brady. Maybe Samantha. Maybe Evelyn. Maybe Greta?
They look like they adore their uncle.
And
Randy.
note that they are
Look
9,
at the phone. Go ahead.
5, 4, 3, and 2, but the baby's still attached to the initial name because he
They're
learned
always
it that way. They'll
Randy,
always be baby.
So if anyone's interested in the book, and you were saying that you'd be interested in coming to talk to book clubs.
Oh, and I
things
love
like
book
that?
clubs. That's, again, like the oral tradition. I'm able to go and speak, and people are able to ask questions and learn, and people are very interested in how it was raising a handicapped child and learning more about tuberous sclerosis.
And he's looking at, Randy and your family are featured in Mendota Heights Living magazine for March, so it's nice to share your story with them as well.
Thank
So,
you.
any final comments that you want to leave with our viewers about Randy and about your story?
No, just humor is what's gotten our family through so many difficult situations. So we laugh and we enjoy life with Randy, and each day's been an added blessing for us. So thank you for having us
Thank
and
you
having
so much
Randy.
for your time.
Yeah.
And Randy, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I think you've earned a donut.
What do you say?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
right.
Thank you so much. We'll
Thank you.
appreciate it. And we'll be back with more right after this. Stay with us.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
The Health and Wellness Collaborative wants to raise awareness about the importance of family meals, and that they've created a fun way to do that with what they call the Family Mealtime Challenge. Here, take a look.
I think that spending the time really helps kids develop and gives them the resilience to face the challenges that we all face in life.
I think it's really important for students to have a healthy lifestyle in order for them to be the best they can be at school.
How's school?
Fine. It's fun. It's a great way to get to know each other. So I learn a lot more about my family, even though like I see them on a regular basis. I feel like I wouldn't know a lot of stuff about them if it weren't for these like questions. And it's a really easy way to just spend time together.
What is the best thing about being your age, and what is the worst thing?
I think we enjoyed it because it was an opportunity for us to ask each other different questions and get to know each other in a different way. We often get stuck in the rut of how was school today, how was work today, oh, we've got to run out the door to this activity or that activity. And so it was nice to sit and learn more things about each other.
It's such an easy way to bond with your family members, and you know, it's a great excuse to sit down and have a meal together and just get to know one another better, and there's never going to be anything negative about that.
The students were very engaged in talking about what they talked about at dinner the night before. They talked about having dinner as a family And it was super exciting having healthy breakfasts, having healthy dinners, getting that exercise in as well. All of that helps your mind and it helps your learning.
Hey, let's see what this one says. What is special about your family?
That we go on trips a lot.
I think the meal challenge gives parents an opportunity to spend a little bit more time with their kids and for kids to spend more time together conversing.
¿Y esa?
La planta.
Well, our school did it for about a month. We did the mealtime challenge, and it was great. I mean, the kids loved it. The families really seemed to like it. I actually took it home and did it with my own family. So we asked each other questions every night, and we had them in Spanish and English. So it was very fun.
Su pregunta hoy.
We did it in the school too during our morning meetings, a little bit to ask questions. It was a good spark to get kids interested in talking at the meals at home.
We did it on the cruise.
What is your favorite season?
Which was fun because we had like all of our cousins and our aunts and uncles there, so that was fun to see like how they would react to it.
I didn't realize that my kids would find it so appealing that they would want to continue it on spring break, and I think it's just a testament to how much the kids really love doing this stuff too.
Because we get to know each other better.
We're pleased to have with us Dr. Keith Jacobus, the superintendent of South Washington County Schools. So thank you for being with us.
You're
we saw you briefly in the video as well. So what are some of the benefits of family meals? I mean, educational-wise, health-wise, what would be some of those benefits?
Well, I think one of the main benefits is slowing your day down and having time to spend time with your kids, asking them questions and hearing their thinking. It's amazing the complexity of kids' thinking, and sometimes as parents, being a parent myself, we never really delve into that. The day goes by fairly quickly. We're plugged in with our work and devices. They're plugged in with their devices. And there is just so little time to sit back and reflect and really engage in a conversation. So as far as education, I think one of the things it does for a family is pass on the traditions, the cultures, the wisdom. As a parent, when you have a chance to answer some of the questions for your kids and they hear your thinking and the reason behind your thinking. And then as a parent, as your children answer that question and give you the reasons they're thinking the way they are, it gives you a chance then to explore different avenues and really, I believe, brings the family together in a much stronger bonding situation with the hectic lives that kids can live. So I think there is also an educational component for school that as students talk about certain aspects, then parents, as the first teacher at home, can get involved in shaping their thinking and help guiding them as well.
It seems like there's also some research that backs up some of that, saying how it can improve better grades and maybe even reduce the risk of drugs and alcohol with kids later in the, as they get older and stuff like that. That basic family feeling and stuff. And as we saw in the video, like there was these conversation starters that really help that conversation going, and it's really interesting to see that and witness that. And the families really enjoy it. That's what I understand.
Yep, we did. I participated at home, and I have two sons, one that is out of college and one that's still in high school. And as much as I feel like I try to engage in the conversation, because we had the starters, it was really interesting then to hear their thinking and to keep the conversation going. My high school son would be one to say a couple words and then he's finished. But this probes deeper, and it's a wonderful way to enjoy the meal and to enjoy the conversation.
Do you remember one in particular that was really interesting, the response and the conversation it stimulated?
Well, one of the ones that I remember was, if you could go back in time, in any time, where would you go and why?
Interesting.
And so my older son has a nostalgia for certain things back in the 60s and music, and he would go back because of being able to see live what he's interested in now and reading about. And so questions like that, I think, probe, as I said, your children's thinking, but also they get to hear what you're thinking about.
And I understand to date there's been 6 schools in South Washington County that have participated in the Family Mealtime Challenge. There's another 4 that are going to be taking part this month in March. So why do you support, why are you in favor of this?
But one of the things I think we struggle with in schools is that the fast pace of life and the different things that kids are involved in, where it pushes against their emotional well-being and their happiness. This is a wonderful way, a simple way for families to take a minute to breathe, to have that enjoyment, and things that I think, being an older adult, we took for granted growing up. And now that isn't so easy to do, and I find that as a parent too. And so the more our families can spend time together without a device, without something that they're watching or even being involved in, and just having that conversation, I think it is amazingly helpful. It helps people reflect. There's a lot of joy that comes from it, a lot of laughing and closeness. And so we hope that all of our schools will eventually have participated in the Meal Challenge. And we did this, we started at home a couple years ago, but every once in a while the jar is on our shelf and we'll pull it out and pull out a few of the statements.
Yeah, and what would you say to other schools and school districts in Minnesota or Wisconsin? They also get our shows as well.
I think it's a simple and a wonderful avenue for a school to help families really work on that family time together without giving them a prescription. There's no right or wrong way to have these conversations. It's a simple way to enjoy time together. And again, I think as school districts, one of the things we have to pull back and give kids more time. And I've been thinking a little bit about living our lives more like the tortoise than the hare.
Yeah.
I think is very good for our health and very good for our learning.
Final comments for our viewers about the importance of family meals.
Well, I think with the way we rush into life, that the family can become fractured without meaning for that to happen. Well adjusted, loving families can live parallel lives without wanting to. And I think this Family Mealtimes Challenge is one step toward helping us take a breather, step back, and really enjoy the family members that we think the most about and love the most. And so I would hope all schools and all families would take a minute and try it. And I know our community education department would be happy to help you if you need the statements or anything we could do to help.
And it was started with a collaborative, a whole group of different organizations. So thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure to have you with us and great important information. So thank you.
Well, you're welcome, and I thank you for having us. I'm happy to talk about this and see the benefits that it has for kids and parents.
Well, thank you so much. And we'd like to thank you for joining us. We hope you join us next time on Inside Healthcare. We'll see you then, everyone.